23 of my torch run slash flag run slash run every single day for 1,170 days till I can run across America. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about, I guess personally, how it feels to be doing something that's so new and out of the box, but also how maybe others can relate to me. Since also no one's on yet, I also want to say what I got today. I was talking about Joan of Arc. You know, she made a flag, and I was already gonna make a flag before I read her story, but I have material to make my War Makes Orphan flags. And so it might be like I don't know why I can't think of this word. I did this, I have to go live in multiple places, but whenever whenever you make something that is a tester, that's what this is. I'm making a tester banner for my War Makes Orphan campaign. But anyways, I got inspired by this book. This book I read when I was a nanny, and there's just this special story in here, but it really relates a lot to dreaming and how it feels to dream when you're all alone. Oh my gosh, hi, Raksha. I still don't know if I'm saying your name right, but hello. You're back. So there is this story. I passed it. It's a great story. If I can find it. Here it is. I'm just gonna start by saying this part. Go away, the innkeepers told them. There isn't any place for you. And it says, whenever they reached the little town, they found every room was full and every bed was taken. And this is Mary, the mother of Jesus, when she was about to have Jesus. She was pregnant. But whenever they had to travel to this city, they got there and she was about to give birth and there was nowhere to stay. And so, yeah, this is a great book. It's called the Jesus Storybook Bible. And anyways, but this is how, we feel as dreamers. This was God's dream, was for Jesus to come into the world. And then when Jesus came, there was no room for him. And so whenever we have a dream that is unlike anything the world has seen, there is no room for us. Like, nobody cares. Hello, CH and whoever else is on here. Like, literally, I think it would be pretty accurate to just say nobody cares about your dream. Nobody cares about what you're doing. Nobody cares about the business you want to start. Nobody cares because you haven't worked it into the world. You haven't made them notice. You haven't made them see. And whenever you're doing something new and starting something, you can't make people see right away. All you can do is be consistent. And also from this book, the consistent part that I found is this. Because remember, this is God's dream. He worked into the world. There was no room on earth for God's dream. There was no room in the inn. Nobody cared that, the mom was going to give birth outside on a donkey. And so ultimately, she had to go give birth in a barn and like with the animals. Whoa, Connor. Yeah, literally no one believes in dreams. It's like, actually, it's really funny because if you went like onto a random bus or train and you said to a random person, you just said, hey, you know what my dream is? It's to join the Marine Corps. And people would look at you and be like, wow, that's so amazing. Do it. I believe in you. But if you tell the people right where you are, or like sometimes your friends or your family, then those are the ones that a lot of times they'll be like, no, like, don't do that. That's too dangerous. That's stupid. That's, we know you better than that. We know what you're like, where you come from. Like that's how people are around you. So, yeah, at first, like, it really feels like there's no room for us. There's no room for us dreamers. There's no room for us trying to be different. Oh, about Mary and Joseph, I was just talking about how the reason I'm talking about this tonight is because I read of God's dream, which was to send Jesus to the earth. And when Jesus came to the earth, the first thing was said to him, before he even came out into the world from Mary's stomach, there's no room for you. Like, we don't have room for you here. We don't want you here. And that's how it is when we have dreams too. It's like whoever we're closest to, they literally don't want us. And number two also comes from this story. Right away, the person over people in general tried to kill Jesus. He tried to kill not just that dream, but every baby. So, like, all these mothers' dreams of having a son, he just went and killed them all. So that's like number two is like, and this is like what I've felt also personally, is like, for no reason, if you say you have a dream, sometimes the closest people to you will literally try to kill that dream. Like, I don't think anyone has like tried to kill me, but my name is Abigail. Wait, my name? Maybe the name of the book is this. I don't know. You joined the Air Force and you were supported. I think, hopefully you guys were both supported. I think he's talking about like his friends and family, the people around him that were like, no, you can't do it. Oh, my name is Abby. So yeah, for no reason, like, people like have like really attacked me, and like in my mind I'm like, so my dream is to help war orphans and to, I guess, raise awareness online and doing lives and stuff. And I don't know, for like no reason, just people have like really like come at me, and I'm like, like, I shouldn't take it personally. It's kind of like for whatever reason, other people feel like they need to like shut people down, and probably you guys have experienced that. Like, there's just people that they're not probably happy with themselves, and so then they want to make you unhappy, and maybe they're like in this story, this king, he was so powerful and he was scared because of the prophecies about Jesus. Obviously, Jesus didn't come to fight wars and battles like this king thought, but there was a prophecy that Jesus would be king. So he was jealous and scared of Jesus. And so sometimes people are like, obviously, our dreams are not, like the savior of the world, but like, but our dreams, sometimes people really are reason, but that's okay. And like, I don't know if you guys like, I don't have a denomination. I'm not technically even like in a congregation, I guess, like with a church membership or anything. I just kind of like will go to whatever church I want to go to if I want to. Sometimes, like, I went like a full year not going to church actually, just recently. Yeah, Jesus. Oh, what was I raised as? This is so funny. Do I want to get sidetracked from my main message? Oh my gosh, I gotta plug in my phone. So I don't know. You guys can probably find it, but there's like a video where I share my story. It's like viral, but my dad, I didn't say all this in it, but basically the gist is that I'm having my phone in a pile of shells and I'm trying to now fit it with a charger. But my dad was abusive, but he was a minister. And so me and my siblings grew up really like feeling at war with like beliefs and stuff. And we were like all suicidal. Like as a kid, I remember the first time I was like 12 years old, I wanted to die. And so it wasn't until I was an adult that I had an experience with Jesus, and that like changed my life. So I wouldn't say that I am here because of a religion or denomination, but because I met the loveliest person there is, and he gave me a heart to like forgive my dad and stuff. But anyways, that's another story. Um, and anyways, so I don't know about you guys, but as far as my dream goes, I, like, whereas other people might just like treat it as like whatever, it's almost like like you obsess over it, like your dream. And like personally, like even before I started like really like being committed to it and everything, I was having like nighttime dreams, like dreaming this same dreams over and over again. And so I think like when you know you're meant to do something, there'll be like synchronicity and signs and confirmation, and just like everything will like align, where even if everyone else is against it and no one supports it and you feel like completely alone, it's like you know what your mission is, you know what you're here for. And Catholic, oh, that's so amazing, Bones. That's really cool. Yeah, like I honestly like I don't want to like push my beliefs on anyone at all, because I'm I believe like the only real faith there is authentic faith, and you don't come to that through people like forcing it on you, but from experiencing it yourself. And so though I do believe like Jesus is the best and the way to live, like he's the way, the truth, and the life, like I 100% believe that, but I think there's a lot of Christians pretending, and that I think is what's dangerous, because that's, when Jesus was on the earth and he talked a lot up to like hypocrites and stuff, it was usually like really religious people that were doing everything for like show. And when we do things for show, it's because it's not real to us. And so that's what Jesus is against. So then it's just like makes no sense that, now a lot of Christians are like faking and pretending for whatever reason, if it is, for social proof, or to have power, or whatever reason people do that. But yeah, I think everything's better when it's real. So um, my faith is in Jesus. I don't buy into priest pastors. It's like do your own research. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. Like I'm like I don't know where I am on that, because definitely, you know, God's idea was pastors, but pastors are supposed to look like Jesus. And that's how I will know if I meet a pastor. I'm like, is he actually as humble as Jesus? Is he actually as kind? You know? And like, really, the exchange word for that is shepherd. And a shepherd, literally by definition, lays down his life for his sheep, like Jesus did, like would die for his sheep. And you just don't see that in like church leadership. And so that's like what I would look for in a pastor, in order for me to like be like, oh, you're my pastor. Like I feel like the chances of me saying that get slimmer and slimmer as I get older, but I don't think it's like impossible like for it to ever happen. But just like right now, I don't know. Um, but I think like also for myself, like the another thing, I don't know about you guys, but as far as like your dreams go, like it's like a mixture. Like my heart like breaks for the situation, but then I'm like excited about it at the same time. Not that I'm excited how it is, but I'm excited because I have like the vision to see like the other side of my dream. And so it's like I have like almost like a double passion. It's like a passion from anger and heartbreak and like this should not be, but then I have like this other passion of like joy and just like excitement because I believe in it and that it can be done. So like hopefully you guys can like also like use that for fuel in your lives. But um also like I don't know also, but I think what a lot of times whatever we're meant to do, there will be people who've gone before us, like maybe in distant history, like Jesus. Like I love Jesus. I look to Jesus' life and I'm like, man, he was the most loving man. I want to be the most loving I can, so I can learn from Jesus. But um, not just Jesus, but like, there's like reformer, world changers, conquerors, just different forms of people throughout history. And for me personally, I feel really like I'm meant to be more in like reformation, like seeing the world change, like orphans, war orphans. So whenever I read about people in history, it's like the it's not like okay, reading about who's someone cool. Um, I don't know, like a president of the United States. I read their stories, some of them, and I'm like, wow, that was a cool man. But I'm not like, man, I feel that person. Like they speak to me, they speak right to me. Um, I think, okay, whoa, I have like sorry, I looked away and I just am seeing this. So the first question was, do you think that ghosts are real or not? That's a really good question. Um, I actually really believe in the Bible. And so, according to that, I think it is possible to um, encounter spirits. So, I think a lot of times when people do see ghosts, I personally think that it's like demons who have lived throughout history, but also there is something called necromancy, which God does not want us to do, but it's where people call up dead people and they can talk. Um, and so, um, do I believe in them? Yeah. Am I scared of them? No, because it also, you know, God says He's given us power over all the enemies. So as far as like spirituality goes, like there is nothing that can beat love that died for us, because anything dark, anything like spiritual that's like on the dark side, it goes away when the light is turned on, like light is just more powerful than darkness. And so um I do think that sometimes people are like tormented by spirits, and a lot of times they have like opened themselves up to that torment. And sometimes I think that they were like traumatized by someone who had. So some people deal with that, deal with spirits because of something someone else did to them. But no matter what, when someone allows love into their heart, like the love of Jesus and, the washing of Jesus, like all of those spirits have to leave. Like that's just like like what I've seen. Like I really feel like there was like, um, like growing up when my dad was like abusive, and I was like pretty fine. It was like, things like culminated to where I just became like really crippled, and I think it was spiritual. Like I was like very heavy and dark and sad, and I was so like insecure, and I would like hide in my room. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't like people. I didn't like want to make eye contact with people. And but when I had this encounter with Jesus, it was like boom, the light turned on. I loved people. I felt loved by Jesus. I was like washed in, the blood of Jesus, which that just means that what I was supposed to like get the punishment for my decisions, because I had let myself become like hurt and bitter. um, it was just like I was forgiven and I was seen fully, and the lights came on. So yeah, I don't know how to say that, but okay, sorry. What about crusades under the name of God who killed and are seen as heroes? These are like the exact examples I'm talking about. It's like these are the people that Jesus was completely against. Like if you go through, Jesus is like just so loving to normal people, to people that a lot of Christians are mean to. Like Jesus, you know, stopped a woman from getting stoned for committing adultery. He like saved, like he would eat with tax collectors and prostitutes, and he would get judged as being a drunkard and all of these names that he was called when he was on earth. But the people that he was saying, you're a brood of snakes, you're like vipers, you're actually pretending like you're shepherds and pastors, but you're hurting the flock because of your heavy-handed rules and demands that you yourself aren't even keeping. Like you're like a casket that's painted on the outside perfectly but is full of dead men's bones. And that's what Jesus was telling the religious people. And so anyone who's religious and they're saying they're doing things for God or Jesus, and then they're not acting like God, who is love, then they are a pretender. They're fake. It's not Jesus at all. So that's just my thought. Holy balding. Am I bald? I don't know. Are my eyebrows matching my mustache? I don't know. Do you know what is the name of Demon King? I actually don't know that. I think there's the devil. I think his name is Lucifer, Beelzebub. But no matter what, Jesus is more powerful. And it's kind of like sad, like whenever people are like possessed of like demons, a lot of times the demons are there to like humiliate the person. So it's kind of like, I don't know how we're on this topic, but oh, hi Mike Dyer, I see you. I always get like funny people in my comments. Okay. But they can be forgiven. Yeah, I do believe everyone can be forgiven. Okay. I actually don't know about this Demon King, but I do know that Jesus is more powerful than any dark and demon, and ultimately he wins. But anyways, I don't know how the conversation has gone all over the world, but I'm gonna try to wrap it up maybe. And yeah, so I guess back to dreamers, unless you guys want to keep talking about this. Yeah, I think I would say I just try not to judge anyone, but I do think like I I am someone that's really sensitive to the spiritual things. Like I can like feel Um, I'm I think a lot of women are like that. Like we're very like intuitive, and um almost everyone who's hurt me, I've like known beforehand that they were going to hurt me, like just what it was going on. And I wouldn't say anything, but I think I have like a sense of like people and like what's behind them. And like sometimes even like comments on here, it's like, yeah, the person's like talking, but or trolling or whatever. But so, if it's ever like charged like spiritually, I would like feel it. And um, I still like know that, Jesus is more powerful. But I am not gonna like go into a store where I feel something like on a book. Like I can feel if there's like a spirit, on it without even reading the title. And if I like will pull it out, it'll be something about, like witchcraft or like demon worship or something. But I'm not gonna like read that book because I am want to be possessed of light because I know light is more powerful than dark, and of Jesus because I know love wins. And even though it's not winning in every way in the world, because there's so much evil and darkness in the world, just the fact that we just know that everything ultimately will be brought back into God, into love, and He has the ultimate authority. But if I ran into like the most powerful, witch doctor in the world or a witch in the world, which I do believe they exist, I also know that Jesus is the name above every name, and that I would not be scared of them for a second, even though I do believe that um, it's real, like spiritual stuff they're working with. And um, yeah, I think that's true. I think just being like a woman probably gives me a lot more intuition, and like premonition, I guess, like knowing sometimes things before they happen. But I also have like this thing of, it's not all my dreams, but there's this certain dream I have, like a type of dream, and it's where like I will just sit up in bed like, whoa. And um these dreams actually like will like happen, and it's like very interesting. And like a lot of times like or like when I've been through something where like I've like, for a person, I've faced like a lot of really unusual tragedies. And like those have like tested the softness of my heart, because one thing that happens whenever your heart gets hard, you actually lose this like intuition and like sensitivity. And so there have been times when like that, like like I had dealing with like grief and stuff became really hard. Different times, like a lot has happened, so unusual. I won't talk about it, but really sad stuff. But like it was like through dreams where God was speaking in my dreams that I've been like put on a path back to healing and back to being like sensitive and like soft-hearted again. um but yeah, anyways, I'm gonna read this again. um yeah, so everyone, I mean, I'm not, if I saw a demon in my room, I wouldn't believe it. It could be real. Yeah, honestly, like I think the same. Like if there was like a demon, it's just like, okay, whatever. Jesus is also in the room and he's way more powerful. Um so I know a lot of people do have, I think it's a little like dangerous as far as like, so just being like someone that's like sensitive to like spiritual stuff, there's something called open doors. And like, say here's like a door on my soul, and my soul is what possesses me. So like, I've opened my heart to Jesus, and Jesus has come in my heart, you know but he's not the only thing you can open your heart to. You can open your heart to love. You can open your heart to fake love and betrayers. There's many things you can open your heart to, but you can also open your heart to demon spirits. And that can happen through doing evil deeds. It can happen through, like, if it's um like a lot of people, I believe, who are in prison for like murder, they had opened their heart first to bitterness and hatred, and believing that they are evil themselves. But anyways, like, just like, if this door is coming open towards being like, okay, maybe this evil spirit of murder or hatred or unforgiveness, maybe it's not bad. So, instead of having my door shut to it, I'm just gonna like have it open and be like, okay, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. But then the problem with having an open door is, if that spirit has a free will. If a spirit wants to inhabit a person, and they're like, I'm just gonna be open to it, then spirits can take possession of people. And whenever a spirit does take possession, his goal is never to help that person. Like, a person who's possessed, sometimes they like do like really embarrassing stuff. Sometimes they do really hateful stuff. And like, I just wouldn't mess with it. I do not like, though some I have heard like some people say, oh, but the devil, isn't like, the devil is probably what in America we would refer to as Raven or something like that. But I've heard people say like Jesus and the devil are brothers, or the devil is good and he can just like get redeemed. But when you think of like the total depravity of humans, of the worst suffering a human can experience is suffering at the hand of another human. And a lot of children are facing this, like the utter evil of the world. This is like what the devil is doing in the world. And though people do mess up and they sin, typically humans are not like so bad that you can feel their spirit of being that dark. Like, though people mess up, but whenever people have come under the power of a king or a prince demon, and it's on them or around them or using them, then you can feel that on a person. And when you just look into that person, they're full of something like hatred. They're full of like deception. There's just something like really, really like specific and dark about these people. And so I like, even if I do like like, obviously, like, I'm a human, like, I'm not perfect, but if like in a day, if I feel anything's off, I'll just say like, hey Jesus, like, forgive me if I lied, or forgive me, like, whatever I did, like maybe talked bad about a person. Like, I don't want to talk bad about anyone, because that's actually like something that's dark, is not seeing someone's best, or not forgiving someone, like, whatever it is. Like, I want to come right to God right away And because I don't want any open doors, because I want my vessel and container to be just like so full of love and light and forgiveness and hope and joy. And so if I start to think, well, bitterness isn't that bad. Bitterness can grow like a seed in you, and it can turn from bitterness to like, have you met a bitter old person? Like, it's like sad. You're like, oh my gosh, you're gonna die alone because you're so bitter. No one wants to be around you. So sorry, I'm gonna read your comments, but um uh yeah, that's true. I also believe that demons do mask what their real intentions are. Like just like let's go back to like the first humans, which was, like Adam and Eve. And, God made them in this like perfect environment. But, who had a problem with that environment was not Adam and Eve. And it wasn't God. The devil did, because he said, I have no power here. I can't, make humans get sick. I can't make them kill each other. I can't make them lie. I can't make them feel shame and ashamed and hide. So he used deception to draw them to do something that was against God. And he enticed them, saying, you know, God said, that if you would eat this, you would die. But look how good it is. Look how nice it is. Look, God knows if you will eat this, then you'll be just like God, knowing both good and evil. So up to this point, they only knew good, and they didn't know evil. They didn't know even the devil was talking to them. They were just completely safe and completely no shame, no guile, not, competitive or anything. And so, anyways, ultimately, they ate the fruit, and it was still a long time before they died. But what the devil promised them is that they would be like God. They were already like God. They were made in his image. And so actually when they ate that fruit, they actually became more like the devil, And so it was like all a lie. And the devil really thought of himself as God. But he was literally thrown to the earth, whereas God is in heaven. The devil's, he's here. And he's like part of how we have free will, because we need free will. Like, we were made for free will. But, like, the hope is that we would use our free will to choose again and again love and goodness, and not fall for the fake instant gratification of sin. Like, when you do anything bad, it's a cycle. Like, you do it again, you can't get away from it. It never is satisfied. But oh yeah, don't even touch. Okay. Angels are not the scary part. The scary part about demons is they mask. Oh yeah, I read that. Angels are not equal to humans. They are totally different. Yeah, I agree with that. There's an interesting video on Adam. It's by Harmony on YouTube, called Adam's Lament. Huh. That's interesting. Well, I don't know. We kind of went on a different route than what I was thinking to talk about, but this has been cool. This has been a good talk. Anyways, I look forward to talking to you guys again, but I should probably go to bed and be back tomorrow. I don't know if I know that Rishab knows, but I don't know, Bones, if you know. But I am doing a challenge where for 1,170 days I have to run, like, no breaks, run like fitness, like running around, and go live on as many platforms as I can every single day for war orphans, as I try to build like my bigger dream to help them. It's just like a way to like stay committed. But anyways, so that's if I see you again, it will be tomorrow or any time for the next 3 years. I'll be on here. But anyways, okay. Bye, you guys. Good night. And think about the bright, love, beautiful Jesus and not about anything dark or spiritually dark. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good night.